Hello, welcome back to Tech Ascent, the podcast where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the primary business development partner within tech. Today, joined by Jake Suchocki, the VP of Revenue and Growth in the US of Compport. Jake, welcome to the show.
Oliver, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. It's a pleasure to meet you. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what you guys do at Compport?
Yeah, absolutely. So, myself personally, been in the compensation industry now, coming up on 15 years. Spent a lot of time in several of the larger named organizations that everybody knows. Not going to name names, but if you do some searches, you'll probably figure it out. And then from there, recently, beginning of this year, joined the Compport team, and these guys, we're doing some incredible things around compensation management, merit, bonus, equity, things like that, and really streamlining how folks with complex processes when it comes to merit and bonus, and how we can really help organizations to really hit the ground running, smooth out their process, make complexity simple, and really change the game in how compensation management is being done. So, really excited for what we're doing here as an organization and how we're able to help organizations through that the complex comp process that they're all dealing with.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And you've been in this, we'll call it the niche of the tech space for quite a few years. What sort of kind of trends, movements, or kind of opportunities are you seeing currently?
Yeah, I think there's a big need for doing things different than the way it's always been done, right? Compensation has always been an interesting market, and there's a few players that have kind of owned the space over the years. But what we're seeing is folks need to do things different than they've always done them because things are getting harder, things are getting more complex, and folks need not only a good solution that can help with their processes, but a true partner in making sure that they're keeping up with the latest trends, they're doing things in a way that's going to help keep them successful now and into the future. And so, a solution like Compport, we really are revolutionizing how these complex comp processes are really administered throughout the journey. So it's been really fun to watch the shift from Excel files and some clunky old solutions to really having customer-centric approach to not only doing what folks do well today, but really putting that on steroids and helping them, manage multi-country and solutions out there that are just not getting the job done the way these organizations want to see it.
For sure. And I like that mindset too. And it's something I've touched on in a few other episodes of that vendor versus partner mindset, especially in the
Yeah.
tech space. I think the days are kind of gone of just selling a solution when the client get on with it, just going to lead the churn, but you kind of embed yourself as part of their process, as part of their tech stack, as a partner, something that's going to help them throughout the entire system. That's a recipe for success. But I think some companies are a little slower to adopt that just because it's not the way things have always been.
100%. And with Comport, what's great is the solution was built by 25-year comp pros that have been doing this for a very long time. And 8 years ago, when they built the solution, they wanted to build something that was based on the customer and the customer's needs and something they would have wanted in their journey in managing compensation. So it's really resonating with folks as a result of all that.
For sure. And you mentioned it there, the Comport team, it's a global company spread out across a few different places. You kind of lead the charge in the US. What is that, without pulling back the curtain too much, what does that kind of communication structure look like? What is the team culture? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive culture, right? Everybody's doing everything they can across the board to really help drive our company forward. And we are spread out. We have folks in several different countries here, and it makes it interesting, right? So we're all work from home folks, but there's huge collaboration in driving the ship forward. So folks in India, folks in Asia Pac, folks in Europe, folks in the U.S. We're building a solid team here now. So the fun part about this, and I've gotten to really know these folks over the last few months, and everybody's heart's in the right place. So that makes collaborating so much easier. And we have tools today that make working across the world really simple, right? So the communication tools and things that we put in place helps all of us to really drive the ship forward in a collaborative manner. It's really been awesome.
Yeah, nice, nice. And with your past companies, like you said, we don't need to name names, but were they kind of the similar vibe in terms of global teams? How involved were you and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, this was interesting. I'm here now at Compport. This is a team that was outside of the US for the first 6 years of its existence, and now it has moved in the last 2.5 years. Whereas the other organizations were US focused and then kind of started to spread internationally from there. So it's kind of been flipped in my experience here. Those other organizations are very US focused and they're kind of dripping into other countries. Whereas Compport, we're helping folks in Brazil and Canada and Mexico, in the US and Asia Pac and Europe, India. So it's kind of our mindset. We're a global organization, small and mighty, right? And we're growing rapidly as a result of it. Where the other organizations were really focused on the US and we're starting to, head into a global mindset when I was there, but it's really not the same at all, really. It's here it truly is a global feel and a global presence.
Yeah, it's unique. It's unique, and it's funny you touched on you're growing in Brazil. I'm in Cleveland, but I just spent some time in Brazil, just kind of networking, doing a few things. It's a super unique tech space. It's not one you'd expect, but they've got a lot going on down there for sure.
I'll tell you, you're absolutely right, and we're getting some huge traction with some really large organizations in Brazil, along with the other places I've talked about. So Brazil is an interesting one. We have a great thing going there for sure.
Nice, nice. And in the U.S., obviously, a lot of the audience listening is from the U.S. Coming into the space, being a tech company in a competitive landscape, how are you going about kind of breaking through the noise and differentiating yourself in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I came up with kind of the catchphrase of we are the game changer here at Compport, and because we're doing things differently than other folks have done in the past. And so, yeah, there is a lot of noise. There's cultural differences, there's solution differences. Everybody's looking for the UI that's going to make life easier, not harder. They're looking for support that's going to help. So, we kind of have our heads down. We know we have a good thing going, and we're just trying to. I think the biggest problem we have at Compport is nobody knows who we are. And once they see us and what we're capable of, it really resonates. And so, we just talk customer by customer, deal by deal, and make sure that we're putting our best foot forward in every situation. Because at this point, there's really nobody that we can't help. So the focus is who's in front of us right now today that we can help as an organization, and how are we going to put our best foot forward in each of those scenarios. So,
Yeah, big time. Just got to take it one step at a time. Obviously, U.S., it's a big market. Could argue the biggest market, so you got to
yeah,
kind of take it bite size at a time, essentially.
100%.
And Jake, as you're kind of going through this progression, you're new into the Compport scene. What kind of lessons have you learned being in this company, or what lessons have you learned from your past experiences that you're really doubling down on today?
Yeah, what a question. So I think some of the experiences I've had is it's an interesting buying experience today. Buyers are very smart and they know what they want, and there's a lot of capabilities to figure out what's out there. You have Google and all these research tools that you can go to figure out what's available. So it's meeting the buyer where they're at from an individual perspective and trying to understand what they're trying to accomplish, and meeting them where they're at instead of maybe trying to push them along to something. So everybody has their timelines, everybody has what they're looking for, and how do you come together and marry the two to be successful in partnership. So that's one thing. I think another thing early on, I think what I've learned is that everybody thinks that they are a niche situation. But in reality, most people are doing things a couple of different ways, and then there's nuances to that. And so, how do you help organizations and comp folks feel comfortable in making a change in a solution or a process that they feel that's going to impact them in a powerful way and help them be more successful personally, individually in the organization, and then help the organization as a whole. So there's really 3 steps in the process of helping folks feel comfortable enough to create a partnership in the tech space, in the comp space, the individual, the organization, and then the change itself, right? And so how do you take all those 3 things, bring them together, and help them be comfortable in making that move to do something new, and how do you keep that from being scary and help remove any guardrails that might get in the way of that?
No doubt. And something we've noticed in the space just across the board is with so much new tech coming out, it's kind of just, like I said, a lot of noise. It's very noisy. So people don't know who to trust, what solutions are telling the truth, what solutions are kind of over exaggerating. how are you going about kind of educating prospects on the benefits of Compport or even just
Yeah.
compensation technology?
So the name of our game is configurability, flexibility, and really a true partnership. So when I talk about the phrase game changer, which I truly believe we are, the ability to configure the solution to their process, but also help them even improve on what they're currently doing at the same time is huge. To configure in a way where, hey, one of the things that we manage is the compensation process through merit and bonus. And a lot of the headaches that we're hearing from companies is that they have a hard time if they want to make a change maybe mid-cycle, or how do we model out different scenarios in order to get to a place where we feel comfortable in putting things into production. And that's exactly what we do. So we've created a solution where not only can we configure it to what the customers need in their current process today, so they don't have to go outside of their own box, but we can also double down and help them look at best practices and really get to a place where change is hard. Let's be real. Anytime you make a change, you buy new tech, you buy new software, you bring in a new partner, that's going to be hard. But when folks see the configurability, the flexibility, the depth of our understanding and knowledge of the comp process already, and then to take that and really pour gasoline on what they're doing and really help streamline things, it's been a huge value add for our customers. And I think that's a big differentiator from all of the solutions in the marketplace. And that's what we continue to hear over and over and over again.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And I think you touched on it. There's no matter what technology you're adopting, you're going to have some sort of a learning curve. But once you kind of get over that hump, you buy the right solution, and it sounds like with Compport they are, then it pays its dividends in the long run.
Yeah, something that we've noticed and we talk about a lot is the hardest part about moving over to Compport is the first few weeks of making sure we understand their process. But we're going to take something very complex, and over time, it's going to get simpler and easier. It's not going to get harder, and that's a huge value add, and that's really helping our customers say, you know what, this makes sense. We got to do this. So.
I like it. I like the approach. And Jake, we've obviously talked a lot about what you guys are doing. Looking forward a little bit now. As you're stepping into VP of Growth, VP of Revenue in the U.S., what's the goals for Compport moving forward? What's kind of the vision at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I really think we have something special here. I think Compport is in a unique situation where, again, like I said before, there's nobody that we can't help. So we're really working hard to get our name and build our brand. You're seeing us all over LinkedIn. You're seeing us doing webinars. We're doing podcasts. We're meeting up with associations and getting involved in different areas throughout the country. We have partnerships now in Chicago and in Central Texas and in Florida and in New England. And so the goal is to have these partnerships so that people can learn who we are. We don't want it just to be about Compport saying how great we are. We know what we have here and how great it is. We want other people that see the value and understand it out there helping us get the word out as to who we are and what we're doing. So that's a huge growth trajectory for us as we move this thing forward. And our goal is to be a real player in the space and to really help organizations that have multinational complex processes to oversimplify that, streamline that process. We're hearing that we're putting hundreds of hours back into people's lives because they're not spending all this time managing these complex processes in a spreadsheet. We can bring analytics to the table that help CFOs, CEOs, comp folks, total rewards folks, recruiters have all the analytics and data they need to be strategically in line. There's no more siloed approach to managing all this. We can really make it an approach where holistically everybody's on board moving in the same direction. And that's been huge.
I like it. I like it. And it sounds like you guys have laid a very strong foundation to keep building on that. So I like what you guys are doing.
100%. We're excited about it.
For sure. And Jake, I got one last question for you before we wrap up the show. This one's a bit more of a personal one, but you've been in the tech space for a number of years now. There was one lesson you wish you learned a little earlier in your career, whether that be about anything. What would that one lesson be? What do you wish you picked up on just a little earlier?
Meet customers where they're at. Don't try to give them things that they don't need, and meet them where they're at, because everybody's dealing with different things. And if you can really take the time to understand what they're going through and then help them arrange a solution that's going to help impact their major pain points, you're always going to be, Zig Ziglar said it a long time ago, help as many people as you can get what they want, and eventually you'll get what you want.
I like it. I like it. It's a big lesson. It's a big lesson.
100%. I live by
J-
that these days, so it's something I've taken to heart. And when I get on the phone with organizations, I hear all the time that I come off as genuine, and that's because we really believe we can help, and I really want to help. So,
Meet customers where they're at. I like it. You could say it's a game changer.
bada boom boom. You got it.
No, awesome. Well, Jake, that is all I've got for you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, share a little bit about yourself, what you guys are doing with Compport. I'll be sure to link your LinkedIn down below, Compport's website. But is there anywhere else where it'd be good for people to come check you out?
I mean, that's a good starting point. Check out our LinkedIn page. We have all kinds of podcasts. Our website's a good spot. All kinds of resources there for folks as well. But we're doing a lot, like I said, with our podcasts, with our webinars. LinkedIn is really the place to find it all.
Yeah, very cool. So I'll link all that down in the description. But for everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate your time. Jake, I appreciate your time as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oliver, thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your day.
It's been a pleasure. You as well. Bye bye.
Bye.